What's up? For those of you who have been checking out my Instagram and Facebook page, you would have seen that I've been posting out some teaser shots of a new car. Yeah, so unfortunately we're not talking about this one, we're talking about this. Let me explain. Okay, where do I begin? Basically, I had this idea about a year ago. I needed a second car. I just wanted to get out and drive again. I knew the Cefiro was going to be off the road for a little bit longer, and I just wanted something that I could just cruise around in winter in, summer, do track days, that sort of thing, and not kind of worry about it too much. So I started looking. My main goal was to get a GC8 WRX, but well, let me explain. Basically, my main goal was to get a GC8 WRX. I wanted a Japanese import. I wanted to get it from the UK and import it into Norway. Since I've moved to Norway, I've wanted to import my own car here and do that all myself. It's always been a goal of mine to do it. So yeah, I started searching for a GC8 WRXs, and all the ones I found were just rusted out, had lots of issues and stuff with them, and the ones that were good were just going for crazy money. It was about that time that they really just started to increase in value. And then COVID hit, and then that idea just kind of sank, and then kind of concentrated everything on the Cefiro. And then a few months ago I decided I really wanted to do it. I put some feelers out to some friends in the UK, and they were kind of getting back to me with a few cars, and then this popped up. Now, I know you're wondering, Bug Eye WRX, it's the ugly version of the WRXs. That's probably what you think, but for me, I totally disagree. I think they have aged really well, and I have always kind of liked them, although, I mean, let's go back to the GC8 WRXs. I have always loved them. It's the reason why I'm talking to you right now. It's the car that got me into cars. In Australia, you know, when the GC8 WRXs were released there, they were just massive. They were an absolute hit. You saw them everywhere. They were just that popular tuning car. They were popular in Australia. There was like, you know, it was the car for thieves and ram raiders to steal them and rob banks and that sort of thing. The police, I believe, in Victoria had them as well. So, yeah, they were just huge. And like when I got my license, that was the car I wanted to buy. And I remember I said that to my dad when I first got my license, I want to get a WRX. And he I'm pretty sure he slapped me around the head and was like, don't be an idiot. And then that's probably the reason why I'm still here standing today, because if I did buy a WRX, I would have wrapped it around in a tree or something and killed myself. So I'm kind of glad he talked me out of that. But yeah, so the GC8 idea didn't happen, and then yeah, this popped up. I have always liked the Bug Eye ones. I believe it's that car where it can kind of go both ways. They can look ugly, especially when they're just the standard, you know, 1.6 or 2 liter version one. But in this version, I believe they look awesome. So yeah, let's talk about this car for a second. What is it? It is a 2001 WRX STI. It's actually a Japanese import. And that was what I wanted. It had to be a Japanese import car. I didn't want any European delivered cars. I especially didn't want the steering wheel to be on the wrong side. As you can see, the steering wheel is on the right side. The right side. And yeah, it had to be an STI as well. So yeah, I believe like the STI Bug Eyes just look awesome. So yeah, 2001 STI. So it's got all the kind of trinkets and all the you know, added features you get with the Japanese import one. So I'll run you through that. This is basically how it is. I only picked it up yesterday, so I'll have a look over it. I haven't washed it. It's completely disgusting. I bought it sight unseen, so we'll go through that as well. And let's go over what I do and what I do like and what I don't like. So yeah, let's start with the body of the car. Okay, so as you can see, it's white. I did want a white car. I've always had good luck with white cars. I've owned plenty of white cars before. My Integra, Skyline, lots of other cars as well. body-wise, it's in pretty good condition. The seller did say that there was no rust. Underneath, it looks absolutely perfect, no rust. But I have noticed a few little spots starting to come through the top of the windshield here, and then dreaded bubbles around the rear of the arches here. Whatever, I mean, you know, the seller didn't exactly lie to me because I didn't ask that. I mainly asked about the underbody of the car. He said, no, there's no rust there, but I didn't ask about that, whether there is rust. Nothing I can do about it now, whatever. That's what you get when you get to, you know, sight unseen and you're just going by pictures on Facebook. You know, that's my fault, so whatever. Other than that, so on the other side here, which I really like, this is what the Cefiro has. You've got the window visors. This side is fine, but when we go to the other side, snapped. And that was a genuine Subaru one, so that kind of sucks. So that's going to be very hard to replace. All the trim and everything looks fine. There's no dents or anything in it. As you can see, it's insanely dirty because it was transported here on the ferry over, and it's been sitting outside for a couple of days while it was here in Norway, while I had to organise a lot of paperwork and everything for it. UK plates still on the car. Exhaust is good. It's got like the STI exhaust on there. All of these badges and stuff as well. Yeah, but overall, like, it looks pretty good. Obviously there's going to be a few things that I'm going to want to change on it. I don't believe these are the STI wheels, so someone's obviously taken them off and replaced them with some cheap 17s. So I'll be on the lookout for some genuine STI WRX rims to put on there. It's got this under rubber spoiler thing, genuine fog lamp covers, the Moretta STI headlamps, which look amazing. As I said before, they do look ugly in the standard versions, I agree, but in the STI I think that looks really tough. This was one thing I never really noticed on most cars. This is just a like a reflector, like an orange reflector, but on this it's white one, and I thought maybe it'd been painted over or something, but it is a genuine part on there, so kind of cool. Big Brembo brakes on the STI, which is good as well. So overall, the car, I've taken it for one drive and it drives really well. Gearbox feels amazing. There's a couple of noises coming from the rear of the car. I really need to get it up on a hoist to have a look at that. It's either the exhaust maybe hitting something, or maybe the rear trailing arm bushings are worn. I know that is a problem on these, so yeah, need to get it up and have a look at it. But let's get inside the car and have a look at what features the STI model has. So inside the car, it's got the genuine STI cluster here. I know you can adjust the shift light on the STI model. 130,000 kilometers, which I guess is pretty good. I should have mentioned the history on this car. It's only been in the UK since 2019, which is another selling point for me, that it hadn't been driven on UK roads for a long time. All the Subarus I looked at from the UK that had been there for a while, unless they had had like a full restoration on them, they had rust. Subaru's rust, I know that. I've owned a few Subarus in the past. I've had one Subaru here in Norway, and it's just crazy how fast they can rust, and that's definitely a problem with the GC8s. This model, I believe they kind of improved a lot of things. They made it a lot stronger, so they're not as bad, but as you can see on this, it's already starting to rust a little bit. But yeah, so it's basically a brand new import. It hasn't been in Europe very long, which is another good selling point. What I really want to do is do a vehicle history check on this car and see its history in Japan and where it came from. Hopefully it didn't come from Hokkaido, but if it did, it probably would have a lot more rust, so hopefully from the main island of Japan. But yeah, other things, 6-speed gearbox. That was one of the huge improvements with this model of the WRX. Much stronger. That was a huge problem with the GC8. It's just weak gearboxes. Do any launches in them and you're just going to destroy it. So that's a good thing to have. The STI seats, the blue door panels as well, the rear seats as well. Yeah. Thanks to my good buddy Chris, who helped me pick up the car yesterday, who tried to fix the clock and ended up just Let's have a look. Yeah, just shattering that that trim piece there. Let's have a look. Yeah, so anyone out there who may have a WRX clock trim piece out there, please get in touch with me because I need a new one. Thanks, Chris. Whatever, like if that's the worst thing that happens with this car, who cares? Other cool features, the intercooler water spray on it, auto water spray, headlights, fog lamps as well. So yeah, it's got all the little things that, like, you know, the Japanese version has and what everyone else kind of missed out on. Like, you know, it's got the mirrors that fold in as well, which is awesome. It's that reason why I always want Japanese cars, because you get all those extra sort of features that nowhere else got. So yeah, let's go check out the engine. There it is, the classic EJ20 flat 4 Subaru motor. One of the most famous engines to come out of Japan, and one of the longest living engines as well. Now the difference with the Bug-Eye one, this is the EJ207 motor. So I'm not going to pretend I know everything about EJ motors. I'm a bit of a rookie on them compared to like RBs, which I believe I know like everything on those motors. But I know the EJ207 is a much better engine. It's 265 horsepower, I believe, in them. I believe they are stronger as well. The red intake manifold, I believe, means something. I'm not too sure. Subaru people, let me know. But yeah, I mean, the other reason I want to get this is because I want to learn. I've owned Subarus in the past, but never a turbo Subaru, and I've always wanted one. So it's going to be cool to learn something different. The other good thing about this car, like it's stock. Everything is stock. And as I spoke about before, I've always wanted to import a car into Norway. And to do that, you need the car to be as factory as possible. Everything needs to be standard. If it's not, it's just going to make things harder. So that was my kind of a selling point for me with this car, is it is all factory standard. So that's just going to help out so much. Everything looks pretty good. I haven't gone over it that much, to be honest. I've literally owned the car for about 24 hours. So, but my first modification was to put a new battery in it because we couldn't start it when I went to pick it up. And but we did charge it and it seemed okay after that, but I just put a new battery in for peace of mind. The only other difference I can see is some sneaky little vacuum hoses over here that are running over to the boost solenoid, a non-standard boost solenoid, so I believe it is running a little bit more boost than normal. But other than that, the car pulls amazingly well. It idles fine. There's no strange noises or anything as well. I could only put 95 octane fuel in the car yesterday, so I was very hesitant to give it some hard pulls. Plus it's still on UK plates, and I'm an immigrant here, so I don't really want any attention from the police. But once I get some good fuel in it and I know that everything's okay, I'm going to change the oil, change the fuel to the oil filter, then I will take it for a couple of hard runs and see how it goes. But no, other than that, mechanically the car seems quite good, and that's what's most important to me right now. So yeah, that's it. That's my new car. I love it. I don't care what you say about Bug-Eye WRXs. I've always loved them. I think they look tough. Obviously it has to be an STI version, but yeah. I had such a smile on my face driving it yesterday. It was so cool. It's just so good to be back in a performance Japanese car again. The sound as well of a Boxer I've always loved. Just changing through the gears and everything, hearing that turbo sound, oh, man, it was so rewarding for me to be back in the seat of a car like this. So yeah. So anyway, what this car means is I can start going to car meets again, I can start going to track days as well, and I can bring you guys some more content on that. And it's a car that I don't care so much about compared with this, which is, you know, what my heart and soul is into. This, I can just kind of clean it, change the oil, just have fun in it basically, and that's my goal for this car, is just get it out there and yeah, have some fun again. So I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys stick with me on a new adventure in a new car, and please subscribe for all the updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, bye.